Hello again, Pastor Michael here. Great to be able to spend time sharing with you. I'm actually going to share kind of a three-part video message of Conversations of Hope. And they're based upon an article that I found. And it's actually from C.S. Lewis. And he shared to the students in Oxford in autumn of 1939. Learning in Wartime, it's called. Sometimes when we're going through this pandemic, people have likened it to some things in the past. Things like the Spanish flu back in the 1918-19 time frame, and even back to war. Some of the things that I read in this article, or in this sermon, if you want to call it that, that Lewis presents, is actually very, very timely for even a time like this. So let me share with you a couple of thoughts. He breaks it into three items, and I'm just going to tackle one today, and then I'll share the other two in subsequent little videos. He shares this first off. The peculiar difficulty imposed on you by the war is another matter. And is another matter. He's talking before this about just general life. You're in studies, you're in work, you're in doing things in your life that is, quote, normal, and then this happens. He says, do not let your nerves and emotions lead you into thinking your present predicament more abnormal than it really is. Perhaps it may be useful to mention the three mental exercises which may serve as defenses against the three enemies which war or even a pandemic raises up against each of us. The first enemy is excitement. I might also say distraction. The tendency to think and feel about the war or the pandemic when we had intended to think about other things. The best defense is a recognition that in this, as in everything else, the war has not really raised up a new enemy, but only aggravated an old one. There are always plenty of rivals to our work. We are always falling in love or quarreling, looking for jobs or fearing to lose them, getting ill and recovering, following public affairs. If we let ourselves, we shall always be waiting for some distraction or other to end before we can really get down to some business. The only people who achieve much are those who want knowledge so badly that they seek it while the conditions are still unfavorable. Favorable conditions never come. There are, of course, moments when the pressure of the excitement is so great that any superhuman self-control could not resist it. They come in both in war and in peace. We must do the best we can. If this was a problem in 1939, it seems even more so today in this situation whereby we have the technology to access 24 hours of information about what's happening, what's evolving, what new thing has happened. Watching events unfold in this last month and a half has been like watching a slow motion car wreck. It's been difficult to do anything else but watch. And yet Lewis's advice is to minimize that, to minimize this concept, to restrain our nerves and emotions from leading us to think that our present predicament is more abnormal than really is. Human life has always been lived on the edge of the precipice, says Lewis earlier in the article. This, I hope, allows us to reflect and consider, okay, what has this pandemic been doing to me? Am I making that such a huge distraction that I'm not even able to focus on my children or my house or my job or my, you name it, whatever. We have so many distractions right now to life. And that's the enemy. Truly, it's not really the pandemic, it's the distractions that we put up in our mind. One of my favorite Psalms, and I'll leave you with this for today, is Psalm 40. It says, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the pit of destruction, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many will see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. This is what I want you to hinge on for dealing with this excitement, this distraction that happens. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust, who does not turn to the proud, to those who go astray after a lie. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust. Make the Lord hit your focus, your get the distractions away and focus on who God is through all of this. He has not changed. He is faithful to the end. And we look forward again to looking at number 2 and number 3 in this little mini series. And thanks so much for joining with us.